he absolutely takes care of people here in this building just by energy, his approach. Defensively, Deron Payne, his game's going to be one of will, line of scrimmage game for sure. He'll be right in the middle of it. And then for special teams, it was Jeremy Reeves, and the comment I made to the team was he makes every room better that he's in. That's defensive room, defensive backs, special teams, locker room. He's definitely that kind of leader. So all that said, get ready to get rocking with you guys and the game.
Start with Jayden, just some good encouraging news for him. And what's the, I guess I always bring up what's the plan, but what is the plan over the next several weeks? And, is there a chance that he could come back?
Well, let's start with just, I thought it was a good process to go through, like all the players do, get, second opinions and getting all the information, of what to do and how to do it. So I thought the guys nailed that. Dr. Nunziata ran point on that, but, consulting all the people, and Jayden was involved with that as well. So it's a good deal with no surgery. Obviously, that makes a big difference when you have an injury not to have to go down that road. I hope to give you guys an update after the bye week about where he is and, where we go from there. But after that, I'll give you an update on where it's at, and we'll give us a couple weeks to get to that space. That's where we're at.
And then when you look at Sunday, let's go to the corner position too, and with Mikey going inside, outside, whatever it goes,
yep.
What did you see of him outside last year that if he has to go back out there is something you can build on?
Yeah. With him and Jonathan, going into the season, John, we kind of mixed back and forth, inside, outside. Both of them had the versatility to do that. We kind of landed on more outside for John, more inside for Mike, but then we kind of worked both of them. So that's what we'll kind of continue to work into. Last year, what did we see? Obviously, the playmaking ability outside. We saw, him as like a competitor just finding his way. We moved him, I think, maybe it was week 2 or 3. And I think it was week 3, and I just saw him, improve and get better. A lot of that due to just his competitive nature, but it'll be some combination of both of them, and it may, just based on alignments and matchups, could look like he's outside or inside. So we're fortunate that both of them can go both spots.
Can I ask one more?
Yep.
You have a Make-A-Wish.
Asking Sean.
he's the boss.
Things, right?
He said he was in charge. I don't know. Make-A-Wish child here today. I'm just curious, what that means to you and having that.
Yes, we had a new member of the team today. So Fox Thornhill was here, which was absolutely awesome. And what swag for him. We kind of met him as he and his family coming into the building, and probably had maybe 60 or 70 people there. We had some music playing as he came in, and so one of the people he was hoping to meet was Jayden, and so he was there, and he had such cool swag to him. We pointed over to him. He walked over, just gave him a nice head nod, what's up, had his sunglasses on. And then just now breaking the team down afterwards, Debo was trying to, gave him a helmet, and we said, this is how you break the team. I said, I got it, man. Family on 3. And so he was already ready. So Fox Thornhill, as a commander, man, does he have swag. And it was really cool to be a part of somebody going through a tough space of, when you're dealing with something as heavy as that as a child, and to get a chance to see him happy and his family happy, his older brother and his parents, man, not every profession gets that. And so to see him on the best of days when you're going through it, that's a nice thing for the team with the smile. So he was still outside with the guys just now, so that made me happy.
Well, this is going to be a bummer of a segue after that.
You don't have to go there.
It's sort of a broader question. When you first got here, I think you said this would be more of a recalibration. Do you feel the same now at this point in the season? Do you still feel like the team is sort of where you thought it would be?
Fair question. We're obviously in a tough slump. I mean, you can't deny this. But I don't feel differently. I don't, how we're performing does not make me happy. We're beating ourselves. We're not hitting the marks that we need to, but that doesn't change my outlook or my belief. I have a sense that it's about to go again. And I see that because of practice. I see that because of locker room, but it does have to take place on the field too, Nikki. That's a big deal. But I also love there's some people that are developing, but it still comes down to the performance on the field. So I have not changed my mindset on that in the midst of a tough stretch for us. I have not changed my mindset on that.
And you've mentioned Will Harris, but not having him out there. What do you guys lose, and what have you seen from the players who have stepped up in his place?
Yep. First thing, I thought, like, the background with Will, I think some know, but not everybody knows. Like, from the cover side, like, came in the league as a corner, who could play inside and play nickel and then move to safety. I love Will's urgency, the importance of it, the detail of it. Like, he loves football. And we were remarking, the night he got injured, like, he hadn't even had the surgery yet. I'll be back in this much time. Like, he was already saying that night. It's like, just get the surgery this week, okay? But that kind of gives you a window to him, about who he is and what he like. So he's itching to get back, with the team. He's here doing rehab now. He's hitting the marks that he's supposed to. But it's the coverability. It's the urgency that he plays with. I kind of felt that way from the whole time he was here, this urgency to be a part of it. So we definitely miss him. We're looking forward to getting him back. And so as we're getting closer to that, I like, the progress that he's making. But that's just a few of the things that he brings.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Chris Rodriguez being captain this
Yes.
week. When you look at the running game in the beginning of the season, it seems like you all were really running the ball well, but it's kind of like died off some. What
Sure.
do you think the reason why that is, and what do you want to see this week in getting that back again?
Yeah. Yeah, we have to, Don. That's a great question, and something that's that we have to emphasize. And there could be a matchup where it's tough even to get the yards, but you have to dig in and keep fighting for them, knowing that there could be a play pass or the benefit that goes with that. As far as the difference of both, defending the whole field, honestly, defending it up high on shots down the field, play passes. So having the variety of both with some balance is big, but the importance of hanging in, staying into it, and it's a big part of this game for sure. I said earlier, this is a line of scrimmage game on both sides, and the running game for us is going to be a big part of this. All three backs.
Great. You went back to the classroom this week, giving the players a little homework assignment. What did you see from that this week when they came back and went, out as far as applying it in the practice?
Yeah. What may seem small or tweaks or different could be as simple as like a meeting with, these 2 or 3 positions together. Extended walkthroughs where you might get, 30 to 40 more reps of something just to get more clarity, more, insights on it. From the coaching side was, can we narrow things out to make sure we know the margins are small? And so how can we clearly say these are the plays, these are the ones, can we execute that? And so that's a big piece of it, Don, that we did to make sure preparation would be as elevated as we can make it. And as funny as it sounds, sometimes that's less, even though you're elevating and digging in further. But that was the case this week. But I love that a couple of meetings together, this position group, to increase feedback, collaboration. Where exactly do you see us on this route? Where do you exactly see, the player against this coverage? And so they're the ones out on the grass. And so that's what I was hoping to see, them more directive language to one another, and to make sure that not just the teaching is good, but the learning is, and that they can explain it to one another.
Hey, Coach, as you just mentioned to Nikki, this is a tough period for you all. So how are you all just managing the tough conversations without fracturing the brotherhood?
Yeah. Good news, I guess, Candy, on some things, like tough conversations are part of it. But it also doesn't mean you have to come at somebody, in a way that, is harder than it has to be. But you do have to have those conversations about a performance, a technique, a mindset. Doesn't make the player, they're not happy, or a coach happy, but how they respond, that's really what you're looking for. If somebody flies off the handle or goes, sideways about things, then that's probably a bigger problem. So like that disappointment, like, okay, I'm going to show you, that's a good conversation in my opinion, because like all of us are here to win and perform. And if something's not meeting a standard that we like, you have to have those tough conversations, as you said. But because we have them on regular basis, doesn't mean, it's boys mad now. Like I have tough conversations sometimes after wins. Tough conversation after a practice to say, what the hell was that? And watch the tape or show an example. But I don't try to, do it in a way that's ever demeaning or that. But like, this is what the performance shows. This is what we have to do. And then the last piece of that, and this is the plan to go fix it. This is the technique. This is the thing I want you to work on. This is the skill, as opposed to just, saying demoted or this or that. Like, and here's what we need to go do. So I think if you give that kind of feedback, and let the player also, or the person that you're dealing with, have their say too, then you come to some solutions together. So, okay, this is what you want to see. How do I go figure out how to do that?
How have you seen the quarterback room overall just handle the change due to the injuries? 1 week is Jayden and it's Marcus. So how have you just seen them all handle
I think the
that?
whole team, just continuity is probably the hardest part, Candy, as you're going through things. And so how can they work with one another to help get that continuity? Sometimes at the position, the other receivers helping a new receiver. Other quarterbacks, bringing people together. And so that's kind of what I was referring to, of like some groups together to watch practice, some groups, not separate, where that's a normal thing where you can really hone in on the technique. No, I also want to discuss it with these 2 or 3 groups together. So that's what you do. You figure it out, together. And the quarterback room is one of our strongest. Players, leadership, coaching. So they spend the most time together just by nature of the position. There's the early mornings, there's the extra time, which like the job requires what it requires, like that's the job. And so the fact that they're able to spend a lot of good time together helps, be honest with one another, and good performances, bad performances, things we need to do more of, coaching and playing. So it's a good group. It really is, in that room specifically.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. We all kind of know like game flow obviously matters, and as the deficit grows, offenses tend to go more towards passing than running. You've mentioned the importance of kind of trying to stick with the run even when it's a little bit hard. How's that conversation flow with you and Cliff on the sideline in a game to kind of decide like, hey, this is when we just kind of need to get into our passing game more? Yeah,
I think we talk about like just stay in the balance, into the balance of what we're going to do. We hit on some of the things that we liked during the week. Have we hit this yet? Have we hit this yet? So like as we're going down kind of through a checklist of things that we want to see. And if we've seen them, okay, is there one to come back to off of that? So which ones go with one another? But it's pretty easy in game. Usually it's in between a series, not during the play time, but what's next? Halftime also.
And then Coach Witt kind of mentioned the increase in walkthroughs.
Yep.
I know it's hard to really evaluate it until you get to the game and
Yes.
see what the fruit is, but just as best you can, like getting that hands-on learning opportunity increased, how do you feel like that's impacted the locker room?
That's the goal. As players, physical learners, there's obviously a classroom element of philosophy, of big picture of it, but then the physical learning of where you are, the space of that, of what that can look like. We're hopeful that pays dividends for us. In all ways for our team, we want like aggressiveness, but having the discipline to stay, in this pocket of doing things right. And so finding that balance of both is a big deal for us. But like most things, we're going to keep digging and find some of the small tweaks that can make a difference. And we're hoping that specifically is one that will help us.
Jordan McGee's obviously been getting some more work lately. Now that you've been around him for a year and a half or so, do you have a sense of like which of the linebacker spots you see him in longer term, and should it be the one in the middle? Does playing the way you're playing him now with Bobby on the field give Jordan enough time for you to really be able to say if he's in that spot?
Yeah, the good for him is that he plays both positions for us. Like when we play our nickel defense, there's 2 backers. So when you're in that spot, you play both, as the third, backer in the nickel package. So in practice, he plays both. So that's an advantage. Think of it like this way, Ben, as a corner who can play inside and outside, but you have to practice at both. So it'll end up at, okay, where is he most at. He's got speed. He's a good blitzer. He's got, plays square. So I don't know if it's the spot as much, but the fact that he's doing both jobs now gives you a lot of comfort to know, like, as we're developing him, that, he's somebody that we're going to be leaning on hard.
Obviously, as the head coach, you assume responsibility for the entire operation, but I'm curious, as a defensive-minded guy, to what extent have the defensive issues bothered you, and has it changed, or is there any kind of inclination to be more involved on that side of the ball as some of the issues persist?
Yeah, so I would say, like, can you say the first, like, how much does it bother me? Is that, like 10 out of 10, like, bother me. As the head coach, like, biggest thing, like, I want to be play style, our philosophy of how we want to play. And so that part, when I don't get that like we want, obviously it agitates me on any of the phases. And then the skill development of the players, obviously that's an important part to me, because if I can help develop the guys, we can, find our way back. But as far as, like, the involvement, yeah, I'm involved, and I want to see us increase, tackling and takeaways and some fundamentals that would go with that. And then as we're going through, you'd heard us say earlier, can we simplify some things? Can we make it more, so we can process and hit and do things better? And so that's really where I push everybody to go to, defensively especially, but all three phases really. But that's where I'm leaning in the most. But that's honestly, like, where I normally lean in the most.
With you guys having a long travel week next week, how does that kind of impact how you handle guys like Jayden and others who are still sort of nursing injuries? Or not?
Yeah, the guys that would be there with us. If there was, some guys that would stay back due to, certain rehab or that thing. But, we'll hit that kind of like as we get through into Monday morning. And then there'll be obviously some therapists that would be back here. But not everybody will go. But we'll kind of wait till we get through Monday, and then you kind of organize who's staying, who's going, and lean in from that.